Okay, let's use nmrpflash to go back to stock firmware from any condition. First, you're going to download nmrpflash and then the other thing, which is npcap. I'm not going to explain all that. As you can see, I've already done it once here. First off, even if the router's looping, as long as it's connected over Ethernet, you need to run nmrpflash negative capital L. This will show you the interface. The interface you're looking for is right here, net22. That's your local area connection. That is your Ethernet. Do not do the wireless connection. That's not needed. So with that, you need to put your firmware file for the r8000. It's a .check file. I put it on the C drive. And you can do nmrpflash -I, which -I is for the interface, which you got a second ago, which is net22. So -I, net22, -F is the firmware file, and after that is the location of the firmware file. So it's, in my case, directly on the C drive / the firmware file name with the .check at the end. So once we have all that, verify we're connected here. It's right there. I can do this and see where I'm at. IPv4 default gateway is 1.1, so we are connected. Now, I'm running OpenWRT right now. Doesn't matter. Even if it's bricked, looped, in a loop, a boot loop, whatever you want to call it, it will work. I have routerlogin.net is the stock Netgear firmware page, and it has no connection because I just upgraded to OpenWRT. Now, let's do some flashing here. Okay, so I'm going to turn the router off. I already have the interface. Now I'm going to turn it on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hit enter with my full command. See if it goes through anything here. Nothing. Okay. Repeat the command while it's still running. Do not turn it on and off yet. There it goes. It's hit or miss. On my R6400, I do it before and it catches it immediately. On this one, sometimes it's a little after. On my other Netgear routers, sometimes it takes a second as well, sometimes a little bit longer. But right now it's flashing the stock firmware file directly to the router. It's real easy. Usually it takes about 10 minutes, your fastest time. Maybe 5. Once you're all set up with nmrpflash, your terminal, you have npcap installed, your firewall's down, all that good stuff. You know where your firmware file is. And it's still going. It takes a minute, actually a couple minutes. Just let it flash. It'll tell you at the command line when it's ready to reboot. See how it's flashing right now? I have no connection here, no IP address. Well, it does, but it's probably the IP for the U-boot connection, which it's flashing over. It's sending the file and flashing it right now. Well, it's uploading. Waiting for remote to respond. Gave a keep alive request. It's usually about 30 seconds for this router, sometimes less for other routers. It's a little bit harder on Netgears with less space and less RAM because it's really slow on those, but it will work. I've came from DDWRT, OpenWRT, Fresh Tomato, Advanced Tomato, all back to stock with this tool. It's really easy to use once you get the hang of it. It's better than opening up the case, especially on this one, because the 6 antennas and the clamshell setup they have, ribbon cable, 26, 27, 28, 29. And there it is, it's finished. Remote finished. Closing connection. Reboot your device now. And the LED is flashing for power. And that's it. I'm just gonna power it off. Wait a couple seconds. Power it back on. You'll see the LEDs coming up. We'll see a status here on your Ethernet connection. You see that same IP address. It's identifying. It's going to take a second because when you install the new firmware, it has to reset up everything that was flashed over by OpenWRT or any other firmware aftermarket that you put on there. That's pretty much it. Just allow it to reboot. And once you're back up and running on routerlogin.net, set it up, go through everything, and just reset the firmware one time after you're done doing this, just to be safe that everything went through just fine. Go identifying. Network 9. Now we'll check the status of it. It's on 1.1 again, but this time it's on stock firmware and it asks for additional login information may be required. It's a good sign. So Now we'll check OpenWRT. It's not going to go to OpenWRT, it's going to go to the Netgear app, which I usually don't use the IP with like that. I'll do the router login because it seems to like that a little bit more. And voila, you're back on stock Netgear firmware. I'll try to make a better video. A little bit limited right now. I'm working on it. Bear with me. Thanks for watching.